Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now this time I'm going to rank the albums of The Cars. Now the Cars were Rick Ocasek on lead vocals and rhythm guitar, Benjamin Orr on lead vocals and bass guitar, David Robinson on drums, Elliot Easton on lead guitar and Greg Hawkes on keyboards. Now between 1978 and 1987 they released 6 albums and then they split up. In 2000 Benjamin Orr passed away from cancer, and in 2011 they released their 7th album, Move Like This. Now originally how I was going to do this was just off the cuff on how I remember these albums, but I decided no, I won't. I will actually listen to every single album at least twice again and then I'll rank them. Now so what I did was, to and from work I used this little baby here, which is 6 CD set of all their albums from 1987 or 1978, sorry, right up to 1987, and this is an excellent set and it's a really good value way of getting the Cars music. Now I don't have a physical copy of their last album, Move Like This, although I do have it in MP3. So I burnt it onto CD and it was played the most actually because it's the one I was least familiar with. So ranking these 7 is a little bit different to what I thought the ranking would be. What I'll also do in this is, whenever I show one of the albums, I'll tell you whether any of the songs off that album get into my top 10 Cars songs list, and then at the end of it I'll show the actual list in order of my 10 favourite Cars songs. So what got me into the Cars was this album here, and it's the Greatest Hits, which was released in the end of 1985. I think I must have bought this in 86 or 87. And this is really good. I bought it primarily for Just What You Needed, which I knew and I loved, and I also bought it for Drive, which I knew and I loved as well. But I was very surprised. A lot of this stuff I thought was great, so this was what got me exploring their back catalogue. So at number 7 I'm going to give it to Move Like This, their 2011 album. Now this is not a bad album at all. Okay, there's no Benjamin Orr, and they are quite faithful to the sound of the Cars from the 80s, but there's something missing. Now you could say it is Benjamin Orr not being on bass, but I don't even think it's that. There's like a spark missing. The songs themselves are actually quite good, like Blue Tip is a great opener, Sad Song is a good song, and Too Late. My favourite of it is the ballad called Soon, but it's one of those albums that you play, you enjoy, and then you instantly forget. And I've played it 4 times and I still had to, before making this video, flip through them again to see which ones I really liked and which ones I weren't too keen on, or I wasn't too keen on. And yeah, I have to put it at number 7. It's still an okay album. None of these albums are bad. I do enjoy them all. I will say I don't think any of them are life-changing albums either. At best they're excellent, at worst they're not bad. Okay, so at number 6, and this is probably the big surprise, and it surprised me that I put it down really last of the original bunch, and it's their debut album. Now this is quite top heavy. It opens up with Good Times Roll, which is a fan favourite. It's never been a favourite of mine. And then it actually hits you with 2 of their best ever songs, My Best Friend's Girl and Just What I Needed, and those 2 songs are in my top 10 list. The rest of the album I'm not overly keen on. The one that I do quite like is You're All I've Got Tonight. Bye Bye Love is alright. I'm in Touch With Your World is annoying as hell, and the song All Mixed Up, it's got a bit of a proggy touch to it for the first minute. In fact, whenever I was playing this I thought this sounds like Genesis 1977 or 1976, and then it turns into a car song. A lot of people rave about this album. I think it's slightly overrated, and that's why it gets my number 6. At number 5, and I think this is their most 80s sounding album, it's Heartbeat City, released in 1984. The Cars debut was released in 78. Now this does include 2 of my top 10 songs as well, with Drive and You Might Think. Now other songs I do like are Hello Again and Heartbeat City, but the rest I think is actually quite dismissible. Magic I think was quite a big hit in the States. If I'm in the mood for it, I like it. If I'm not in the mood for it, I detest it. Looking for Love is okay. It's Not the Night I think is dreadful, as is I Refuse. So it is a mixed bag, and it's their most 80s sounding of all their albums, and it gets my number 5. Number 4, and this one gets slated, but I think it's much better, and it's Door to Door. And this features one of my top 10 car songs with You Are the Girl, which was a single. It did nothing here in the UK. In fact, the Cars only ever had 2 top 10 hits, which were My Best Friend's Girl and Drive. Even though Drive got in the top 10 in 1984, and then again after Live 8 in 1985, and then they only had one other top 30 hit I think, which was Just What I Needed. No, it got to number 17 actually. It was a top 20 hit. But this is actually very good. I think Leave or Stay is a brilliant opener. Everything You Say is as catchy as you'll get. Ta Ta Way Way was a great song. Coming Up You is another great single. I think it's really good, but it didn't do at all. It didn't sell anything over here. Go Away is another great one. Wind You Up's not a bad ballad. The only songs I'm not overly keen of are the very guitar heavy ones, like Double Trouble and Strap Me In. I just think are so generic. They're a little bit boring, but this is I think a much better album as a whole than Heartbeat City. So that gets my number 4. Number 3, and from 1980, and it is Panorama. And this is the one that's usually near the bottom of people's lists as well. Everyone says this is very dark. I think this is just very experimental. It's weird, and you hear a lot of sort of bells and whistles from around 1980, like Space Invaders sounds and all the rest of it in this. But this has one song in my top 10, Touch and Go. But the first 3 songs off this are brilliant. Panorama, Touch and Go, and Give Me Some Slack. Getting Through is another great song, as is Down Boys. Misfit Kid is a great opener to side 2. I think this is a really good album, and that's why it gets my number 3. Number 2, and I think I showed this as my number 1 in my countdown of my top 100 artists. My number 2, I'm giving it to Candio, and this is their second album from 1979. The hit single off this is Let's Go, which was a very minor hit here. I think it got to number 50 something. There's only one song that gets on my top 10 list though, and it's Double Life, which is great. But other very good songs like It's All I Can Do is great, Candio's great. You just can't hold on too long. Whenever you listen to the start of it, you think they're going to start singing words of love. It's got the same sort of guitar intro as the Buddy Holly song. Dangerous Type's good. Lust for Kicks is one I really do like. I think it's rather hypnotic. It's a very, very strong album, and it's much better than their debut. So this is the Cars at my number 2, Candio. And my favourite Cars album is from 1981, and it's Shake It Up. And the whole of side 1 is perfect for this. Since You're Gone, Shake It Up, I'm Not the One, Victim of Love, and Cruiser. And side 2 is pretty good as well. There's 2 that get in my top 10 here, and it's Since You're Gone and the very last track, Maybe Baby, which I think is brilliant. And the Think It Over, the song before that, very nearly got into it as well. I'm Not the One was also a single in 1987. It was remixed for the Greatest Hits album, and it's a beautiful ballad. This is just a really good album. It's very 80s, yes, but this is the sound of the Cars I actually like. I prefer this sound to their late 70s. There's something about it that I just really do enjoy. So Shake It Up is my number 1 Cars album. Okay, my top 10 car songs are listed now. So that's my top 10, and as I say, the Cars were not overly successful over here. Their highest charting album was Heartbeat City at 25. The Cars came next with 29, Candy O at 30, and Door to Door at 72. So Panorama and Shake It Up didn't even chart. The Greatest Hits only managed number 27 as well. They were very successful in the US, but for some reason not so much here. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.